Welcome to the Create with Ease podcast. I am Grace Covington, your host, and today's topic is, who are you creating your life for? When you truly look at your life and look at every aspect of your life, are you truly creating your life, or have you been creating someone else's life, someone else's vision, someone else's dream? So sometimes it really takes stepping back, because this can show up in small little ways. It can be maybe the career that you chose it so that you could finally make your mother happy, or finally make your father happy. And you really didn't choose from a space of you, because had you chosen what you truly would have desired to create, maybe it was a business, or maybe it was to become an artist, or to become something that people would judge as, this is not a secure path. You can't make money with that. And you automatically went into this default of pleasing people. So that could be one way that it shows up. Another way could be in your life in general, where you make choices for other people. So maybe you want to please your husband, and so you always make choices that would make him happy, and you override what truly brings you joy. So let's bring this into practical terms. So maybe you would like to go and watch a movie, and your husband says, or your partner, or your lover, or significant other says, I don't really want to watch this movie. I would rather watch this movie. And then you automatically choose what he desires over your own true desire. So you may be asking, so how does it work in relationship when you have different, two different people, and, there's the aspect of, not everyone likes the same thing. There's the aspect of compromise and, all these different things that come together in a relationship. The key in relationship is choosing for you. Choosing for you. When you choose for you, you actually include everyone else in your choice. So in that movie case, instead of making your husband wrong, you could say, I really would like to watch this movie, and maybe we can go back and watch your movie in 2 weeks or at another time. There is nothing wrong with that. So many times women fall into this trap of always being the people pleaser, of always looking to make other people happy rather than making yourself happy. And it may look like you're being selfish, but when you come from this space of honoring you, of truly looking at yourself as a gift and your needs as important, and as looking at yourself as important, that actually creates change. Many women come from a space of self-rejection. I've worked with so many women who don't know, what business to create, who don't know what their next step is in life. And a lot of that comes from this disconnection of truly honoring you, and honoring your choices, and honoring your voice, and knowing that you are of value. And rather than looking outside of yourself for people to make you happy, for people to tell you that you're good enough, for people to tell you that you're beautiful, that has to come from you. Otherwise, you're always looking on the outside. You're always looking to do things so that you create that reaction that gives people the reaction you would like to receive from them. And how much control do you give over to other people when you succumb to that, when you consistently are looking for approval outside of yourself rather than truly embracing all of you with your flaws, with your everything, and without making yourself wrong or judging yourself. So I want to talk about this aspect of self-rejection because this is so huge, and this is primarily focused. It can be focused on both, women and men, because both tend to do the same thing. And this space of self-rejection is when you don't honor your gifts. I first experienced this in my own personal life where I was, one day I was just thinking like how disconnected I am or how needy I had become like in relationship. And I was looking at that. I'm like, where is this coming from? And it came from the space of self-rejection, of not truly honoring my gifts, not truly showing up in the world and just doing things either to please people or to make people happy or to not make people uncomfortable, and, not want to create waves, just want to be the peacekeeper. And I just want people to say I'm so good and, all these external validation that really takes away from your life. And so when I fully acknowledged that I was rejecting the gift of me, I wasn't choosing the things that truly brought me joy. I wasn't really creating my business in a way that brought me true joy. And I've had to even look at this, even now in my own business, this aspect of who am I creating my business for? And, when you're creating a business online, so many, the rule is, you post every day, you're in your stories every day. And I came to this space of, well, this doesn't really honor my creative flow. This doesn't really honor the way I create. There are times when I know I need total space and just to remove myself from social media, don't post anything or not post as often and just post when I'm truly inspired to post. And at first I was like, oh my goodness, then I won't be able to reach the ideal client into my program. Then, my metrics would change and, people won't find me and all of this, stuff. Conclusions. And again, that external validation. If I do this, then this will create this, rather than being in true trust in business creation that the people that are meant to work with you will show up. They will find you. And when they find you, they will take action. To trust the creative flow of business, that what is desiring to be in the world will show up for you. You'll create it, and when it's ready to be in the world, then you post it instead of this space of force. And so when I started honoring my business, honoring my creative flow, my business actually changed. One, I was less stressed about, just like, oh, I gotta post. I was more intentional with my creation. My content was more impactful. People actually took action versus when I was just like, I gotta prove. I gotta do. I gotta da. I gotta d. And this space of being actually facilitated and created more in my business, where I wasn't working as damn hard as I had been in the past. I wasn't stressed out. And even with clients, so at one point I was just like so busy, like all the time, like back to back sessions. And I literally became exhausted, because when you're facilitating change, there is so much that you move, so many energies that you facilitate, and so many things that, come up in sessions, and it's really a sacred space. And when I decided that I really wanted to change this energy, and specifically wanted to create my business with more ease. And so what I did was, as a way of honoring me, as honoring my business, is I increased my prices. And at first I was like, oh my goodness, this is such a big leap in my price increase. But I truly got, like, what I facilitate, it creates miracles for people. Like, people literally change their lives. The women that I've worked with, they step into this embodied space. They step into this powerful space of creating their lives. And rather than just doing, creating my business as what the status quo says, like you create a group program, this is kind of what the average price is. I went to that space. Well, you know what? I'm truly going to I'm going to create this for me. I'm going to honor the pricing. I'm going to honor my business, and I'm going to increase my pricing. And the space that has opened up is amazing. Like, it's one of the greatest nurturing self-care choices I have ever made, because now what I'm noticing is, yes, my prices are higher. Yes, I'm now attracting a different type of client as well. The clients that are just like, cool, yes, I can afford this. I don't have, the objections of I can't afford this. They truly see the value in that. And that came from my space of honoring me, of letting go of this need to create pricing that works for other people. Because what typically would happen is I would, and not all the time, I've worked with amazing clients who are just like, yes, I'm choosing this. This is what I require. And I'm so grateful for those women, and those women that chose in that way, and their lives have completely changed as well, and they get their return on investment like right away. But there are some people where you facilitate through the objections, and it's like, oh, kind of sluggish, and just trying to get that person to perceive, like, this is, your life is going to change. Your life is going to change from this choice. And so now, as an honoring of me, it's like this whole possibility has now opened up. And then other possibilities have opened up in my business that weren't there. New streams of income, new partnerships, new possibilities that I totally couldn't perceive when I was in that other mode of creating my business for the world and trying to please them with my pricing, with with how things should be, and coming from a space of honoring me, of honoring the gift of me. So let's talk about in your personal day-to-day life, because that could also show up. That energy could show up of who are you creating your life for. So when you wake up, do you automatically think about other people first, or do you look at you? Do you look at centering you? Like, what are your needs? What do you require? What would bring you joy right now? And then you Do you choose that? Or do you feel like, oh, I have to do this first. I have to please this person and that person and that person and those people, and then you're always last on that list. When you come from a space of pleasing you, honoring you, it is such a gift in your life. It is a healer of your life. It starts to heal all the different aspects that require healing. Things start to show up differently for you. You start to show up differently. So many people, I've worked with women who say that, they feel like a lot of people take them for granted. Well, that is this energy of, are you honoring you? Are you taking yourself for granted? And also getting out of this, because society says that you have to, be a good wife. You have to be a good partner. You have to be a good mom. But those are, who has determined what good means? Whose standards are those? What is the measuring stick against? Rather than letting go of all of that, all of those points of views, and really creating your life from what is important to you, from what brings you joy, and really honoring you. So you may be thinking like, okay, so if I do all these things, that I'm being selfish. Yes, you are being selfish with you, and there's nothing wrong with that. What happens is when you honor you, it actually includes everyone else. It includes everyone else in your choice. And you may be wondering, like, how does that work? Try it. And so I'll bring it back to like practical terms. So in my relationship, in my marriage, my husband he's a breakfast type of person. I'm not really a breakfast type of person. And so how this works is normally, in the past, it would be like immediately he would ask me like, can I have some breakfast? Can you make me some breakfast? And I have absolutely no problem doing that. But sometimes it's not what I want to do. Sometimes it's doesn't work at the time that I would like to do that, at the time where it would be more of a contribution to him. And so when I started honoring myself, what I noticed was he would start to ask me to make breakfast for him at a time when it truly worked for me, where I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, absolutely, I can make you breakfast. No problem. I can do that. Or I would say no, and he would make it on his own because I had, something that had something going on and didn't have the time. And that was cool, and he was absolutely okay with that. It wasn't a wrongness of, oh, you're not doing this. You're not making that choice. And so that's one small example, but there's so many other ways that this begins to show up in your life, where your partner starts to honor who you are and starts to contribute to you because you are honoring you. That is an energy that can be perceived, that goes out into the world. And also like in business, where you don't have to, where people can perceive the value of what you have, because it's coming from, because everything you're creating, all the energy that you move into is from that space of honoring. Like, I'm going to honor me today. I'm going to, make this choice. Okay, what would bring me joy? I'm going to choose that. And then you keep choosing, and you keep choosing, and you keep choosing. And this flow opens up in your life that is just, one of just complete surrender. And it's a beautiful energy. It's a beautiful energy that exists and is a gift to everything that is around you, to everything that you're creating. It's a gift to your family. It's a gift to your children. It's a gift to the earth. And that energy creates, that energy of you honoring you actually creates change. in the world. And so if you would like to really create with this energy, because I know sometimes as I was talking about all these different things, it does take facilitation to unwind those places where you may be, self-rejecting yourself, or, you may not see the gift of you, and to be facilitated. I went through a facilitation myself earlier on in my life when I was really struggling with this, and being able to be facilitated and to change that. I didn't just wake up and just be like, okay, I'm just going to honor me today. That didn't work in that way. I'm not saying that's not how it will work for you, but there were some layers. There were some things I had to let go of, things from my childhood, things from relationships that I had to release and surrender to open up this space for me. And then to take the leap in business where you're like, I'm going to create my business from the flow. I'm going to create my business from a space of honoring. I also had to be facilitated in this space, specifically with money, because sometimes you go to the space of, then how's the money going to show up? If I'm not doing all these things, how's the money going to show up? But you're automatically going to lack, and you're automatically going into hustle energy rather than trusting and knowing that your energy creates dynamically. Everything that you ask for, it will show up. So I have received facilitation. I have paid thousands of dollars to create change in my life, because I knew that this is what I required. And there is not a dollar amount that I would place on my transformation. If there is something that I need to move through or I cannot do on my own, I will go and get facilitated. I will pay. And I will not place dollar limits on that, because the return on investment, the change that takes place. I mean, I can think back to, like, there was a period in my life, I would say maybe 10, 14 years ago, where I was just going through facilitation, investing. And now to see the benefits of that and what it's created in my life and my family's life and in me, I'm truly grateful that I made those choices, that I honored me in those times, in that space. So I am inviting you, Badass Business Creators 2.0. The waitlist is closing on Friday. And the gift of the waitlist is you get $200 off the program. And that is a gift, to be able to receive $200 off into this dynamic program that facilitates you in creating the business of your dreams. Have you desired to truly create a business that supports you, a business that changes the world, a business that is joyful, a business that is fun for you? Like, literally, like a business that is fun for you, that works for you. Like, do you desire to travel the world and create your business? If that's something that you desire, that is a possibility. I know for me, there are times when my business loves being nomadic. So going to different countries and creating from there, immersing, full immersion in the culture, the experience. And so those opportunities always open up. And so that's something that is honoring of me and my business. And many people get stuck in the place of, well, I don't know how the money will show up. I don't know how to do it. This program will facilitate that, because you are creating the business of your dreams and setting it up in a way that works for you. So if you have been looking for a different possibility, if you're ready to honor you, to honor your gifts, highly recommend this joining this program. I'm only taking 5 women through this journey. It is a 12-week program. 2 of those spaces have already been secured. There are only 3 spots left. 3 spots remain. And if you are hesitant, they're probably all going to go. I know that for sure. And if you're ready, take action. The link will be in the show notes of this podcast for you to click on and take action from there. And I welcome you into this dynamic program that is going to change your entire life. Well, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. I am grateful for you. Have a fabulous day. Go out and immerse yourself in the joy of living and the possibilities that are available for you to create the life that you are asking for you to create the business that you desire, the business of your dreams.